morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. We will start our practice by lying on our back, placing your hands maybe over the heart and the belly. So left hand floats over the heart, right hand floats over the belly, and melt those elbows down to the ground. And just start to connect in with your breath. Maybe softly deepening each inhale and taking a little bit longer on each exhale. Feel free to close the eyes, set an intention for your practice. Today we're going to be exploring the arm balance crow pose, so often noted as like the gateway arm balance pose, but it can actually be quite challenging, so we're going to get good and warmed up first. When you're ready, begin to rock your knees like windshield wiper blades from right to left, only going as deep as it feels good onto your back. We'll take a few more. And then gently just begin to still the knees and hug those knees into your chest. You could stay still, you could rock from side to side, you could roll in little circles, just intuitively moving, listening to what feels good to your body. Maybe even bring the forehead to your knees, crunch everything in, squeeze everything in for a moment, and then relax down. So we're going to take the finger pads, all 10 finger pads, to the back of the head and take legs up the wall, lifting the feet up to the sky but not slamming the knees straight. Begin to crunch the head up on a breath out. Exhale 2, crunch up. Inhale lowers you down. Exhale for 3. We're going to take 10 crunches. Exhale, crunching up 4. Good. Inhale lowers you down. Exhale crunches you up 5. Inhale, exhale 6. Inhale, exhale 7. Inhale, exhale 8. Inhale, exhale 9. And one more. Inhale, exhale 10. Good. Begin to lower the head back down. Release the hands. Grab the backs of the legs. Pull the knees into your chest. And then sink the feet to the floor. Keep your heels close to your bum. Good. Place the hands by your side. Rock up onto the shoulders a little bit more and lift the hips up high for a bridge. As you exhale, one vertebra at a time slowly rolls you to the mat. Good. Inhale, lift the hips high. Exhale, slow roll down. Don't feel like you have to rush this. Go at your own pace. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, roll down. We'll take 2 more at your own pace. Inhale lifts you up. Exhale rolls you down. Last one. Inhale lifts you up. And exhale rolls you down. Good. So we'll keep the left foot grounded, but bring the right knee into your chest. And you could stay there, but pull the knee more towards the shoulder. Kind of open up the inner thigh. Maybe even reach for the pinky toe edge of that right foot with the right hand for like a half happy baby. And trying to get that knee towards the outer right shoulder. Not forcing it, just ease into the stretch. Good, we'll release the right foot and bring the left knee into your chest. And you can just grab the knee, but pull the knee out to the left just a little bit more so you feel it more in that inner thigh, the adductors. You could stay there or maybe have happy baby clasp around the pinky toe edge of that left foot. And just let gravity and the weight of that arm pull that left knee towards the earth. Good. Stay grounded into the right foot. Take one more breath in and then exhale. We'll gently release the left foot back to the mat. So feet stay grounded, but we're going to lift the head and the shoulders up a little bit. Flip your palms to the sky and lift hands up off the ground. So we're going to do 5 little crunches to the middle. Good. Exhale 2, 3, 4, getting the core nice and warm, and 5. Now reach the hands over to the right edge of your body, and we'll do an oblique crunch. 1, 2, 3. Good. Reaching towards the right edge of that mat. 4 and 5. Over to the left side with both hands. Exhale, crunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then 5 back to the center. Exhale, pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Let the head lower down. Stretch your arms overhead long. Extend through your toes. Reach the legs out long. Try to make your body as long as possible. Take a breath in and then maybe take a deep breath out. Rebend the knees. Cross your ankles. Grab the backs of your legs. 5 rock and rolls at your own pace. Rolling up and rolling back. Massaging the spine if that feels good to you. If not, just stay on your back and roll in little circles. Good. Take your time. On your 5th rock and roll, we'll just come up to sit, an easy seat. Arms to the knees, legs crossed. Roll the shoulder blades up, back, and down. Roll up, back, and down. One more. Roll up, back, and down. And we'll soften the shoulders down as we lower right ear to right shoulder. Gently roll your chin down to your chest. Roll left ear to left shoulder. And then gently roll chin down to chest. Let's connect that with our breath. So inhale, right ear to right shoulder. And as we're ready to exhale, chin comes to chest. And that kind of shows you how long to hold it. So the full length of your inhale rolls left ear to left shoulder. And then as you exhale, chin to chest. Good. Inhale, right ear to right shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, left ear to left shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Good. Roll the shoulder blades up, back, and down. Bring your gaze forward. Pull your heart through and lift your chin up to the sky just a little bit more. As you exhale, tuck your chin into your chest. Kind of sink back into your sacrum. Grab the knees to hold on. Inhale, slingshot your heart forward. Pull your chin up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, fold inward, round back to your tailbone. Extend through the shoulders. Inhale, maybe even dive the forehead down, open the heart as you sweep forward, and then roll, exhale, waves you back. It's like a seated cat-cow. Inhale, rolls you forward, big wave. Exhale, rolls you back. And if that doesn't feel good, just keep it small. Good. Inhale, rolls you forward, open the heart, and exhale, wave back. Just seeing how the spine can articulate through those movements. Good. Back to center, hands sweep overhead high. As you exhale, twist to the right, placing the left hand on right knee and right hand back behind you. Pull your heart up a little bit higher, maybe spin your gaze over your right shoulder. Each exhale wrings your lungs out a little bit more like a wet washcloth. Good. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, forward fold. Okay. Feeling this in the hips a little bit or a lot. Good. Inhale, wave the heart up. Only go as deep as you feel comfortable. Exhale, fold a little bit deeper. Good. And we can stay right there for a moment or two, but when you're ready, drip your fingertips back to your belly. Sweep hands overhead high. This time twist to the left, placing right hand on left knee. Left hand spins behind you. Pull your heart up and take your gaze behind that left shoulder. Good. Each exhale wrings the lungs out. Inhale, sweep back up high to center, and again, exhale, forward fold. Only go as deep as you feel comfortable. Feel free to stay still or maybe rock from side to side. See how that feels in the body. Where are we stiff? Where are we feeling a little sticky? Good. And just ease into it. We're not forcing a shape. You don't have to mimic what I do. Just feel good to you. So freestyle this a little bit. Hands walk back to the knees. Pull the knees up with the help of the hands. Good. Place hands back behind you so that fingertips are facing the front of the mat. Feet are grounded. Open the heart. Start to feel this in the front of the right shoulder and left shoulder. Good. Pull the heart up a little bit higher and just breathe. Maybe eyes even float to close. Good. Big heart opener, big shoulder opener. Good, and relax. Just start to hug those knees in. So maybe let the chin move to the chest and round the shoulder blades back. Kind of giving yourself a hug. Reflect inward. Good. Pull your heart up. Bring your gaze high. Again, hands come back behind you, fingertips facing forward. So you could do that first variation, or if it feels available in the shoulders, come into this little reverse tabletop position. So pulling the chest open, pulling the head back, and just opening the shoulders. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the knees. And when you're ready, sink your bum back and through the hands. Good. So both legs are out long here. And then we're going to come right back into that reverse tabletop position using the strength of the core. Now, sweep the hips back through the hands. Try to keep your seat lifted. Good. Squeeze the core. Inhale, come back to reverse tabletop open. As we exhale, crunch the belly in. Maybe try to lift one foot and then the other foot. Good. And then one more time, sweep the heart through. Pull the hips up high. And as we sweep back this time, if you can lift both feet, try for it. Ooh, that's tough. Good. And then come back to that reverse tabletop. That L-sit is something I've been working on for a while. Good. Come back to easy seat here. Hands float to the sides. Keep the back long. Keep the heart pulled forward. Good. Maybe staying on toes for boat pose, or start to come up into a lifted foot variation here. So hands can clasp the backs of the legs or they can stay wide. Good. But try to keep that spine long. Inhale lowers you down, feet hover about 3 inches off the floor. And then we're going to hold it here for a moment. And then exhale, pull the heart up back into your boat. Good. Inhale and exhale. Good. Hands to heart center. Let's inhale, lower down to low boat. As we exhale, pull your knees to the left as you roll your shoulders to the right for like a crunch variation as you come up. Good. Knees to the right, shoulders to the left, come up. Good. Inhale, low boat. Exhale, twist. Good. Inhale, low boat. Exhale, twist. Good. This one's funky, so just be patient with yourself. Exhale, twist. Find some variation that works for you, or just hold to the center. Exhale, twist. Good. Inhale, lowers you down and hold. Maybe release the hands. Exhale, lower your head, feet all the way to the floor. Rebend the knees. Hands are by the sides. Okay, lift the hips up a little bit higher. This time interlace all 10 fingers and rock up onto the shoulders a little bit higher. Good. So counter stretching all the core work with a nice little back bend. Don't let the knees splay out here. Find the control in the hamstrings and the glutes and keep the breath moving. When you're ready, release the hands. One vertebra at a time rolls you down. So good and warmed up now. Bring the knees to your chest. Rock and roll a few times at your own pace. Just massaging the back after all of that. When you're ready, we're going to rock and roll all the way up to stand. Take your time, gracefully or ungracefully get there. Root into your feet. Feet are about shoulder or hip width distance. Magnetize the fingers to the ground for mountain pose. Tuck your tailbone. Find alignment in the spine. Inhale, sweep your hands overhead high. Let the palms come to touch down through your third eye into heart center. Root into your feet. Inhale, sweep hands overhead high. And then exhale, gently forward fold through the center. Let your knees be soft. Let the forehead drop down. Inhale, find a halfway lift. And then exhale, forward fold. Good. Inhale, sweep your hands over your head high. Maybe slightly back bend, and then exhale, pull your hands to heart center. So just some simple sun salutations. Inhale, sweep hands overhead high. Exhale, fold through your center, knees are soft. Inhale, halfway lift, elongates the spine. Good, and then exhale, folds you a little deeper. Inhale, sweep your hands overhead high. Maybe slight back bend, squeeze your glutes, and exhale, pull your hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep your hands overhead high. Exhale, gently forward fold, maybe swan dive down. Inhale, find your halfway lift, elongate your heart. And exhale, fold. Good. Inhale, sweep your hands overhead high. Exhale, our hands will come to heart center. This time we're going to inhale, sweep our hands over our head high and interlace all of our fingers except for the pointer finger. As we exhale, lean over to the right and feel a long left side body stretch. Ground into both feet. Good. Inhale comes back to center. Open the heart, maybe slightly back bend as you squeeze your glutes. Exhale, lean to the left, stretch the right side body. Take a few moments to breathe here. Ground into that right foot. Inhale back to center. Open the heart, squeeze, and then forward fold. On your next breath in, find your halfway lift. And as we exhale, plant your hands, step into a plank position. So strong through the core, gazing to the top of the mat, lower your knees. And then keep the heart forward. We're going to keep the elbows close to the body as we lower the chest all the way to the mat. Untuck your toes. Hands are right by the side. Reach back towards your feet and lift the feet and the heart up for a little bow pose. So starting to strengthen the back body. We don't often think about the core as the back body, but the core wraps all the way around from our rib cage all the way to the thighs. So we need to also work the back body. When you're ready, ground your hands by your rib cage, pull your elbows towards one another, ground your big toe mounds, and then lift the hands and chest off the mat using the strength of your low back. Good. Inhale, rise up, and then exhale, wave down. Upper back working as well. Inhale, rise up, squeeze those elbows together, and exhale, wave down. Good. Tuck your tailbone, ground into your hands, stay on your knees, but everything lifts into a modified plank, and then sit back into child's pose. Let the forehead rest to the mat, and knowing that we can always come here whenever we need to in our practice. Touch base with the intention that you may have set at the beginning of practice. Keep it in mind, let it guide you through your flow, and when you're ready, come to hands and knees. On an in-breath, sinks the belly down, opens the heart, and on an out-breath, chin moves to chest, curling around the back up. Inhale, lowering into cow pose, and then exhale, rounding up into cat pose. Let's take one more. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, round the chin to chest, roll the shoulders up. And then we'll come to neutral spine. So ground into your left hand, reach your right hand up high into the air and thread the right arm underneath the left. Maybe let your forehead touch down. Inhale, reach your right hand back up high to the sky, and exhale, roll that right hand through. So a little thoracic rotation. Inhale, reach the right hand high, and exhale, thread it through that left arm, and then just start to melt here into the ground. So option to take a half arm bind by reaching your left hand up high to the sky and taking the back of the left hand somewhere to the back body. It might even hook into that right thigh like I have mine. If this doesn't feel good on the back or the shoulders, just keep that left hand down. Good. When you're ready, place your left hand back on the mat. Come back up into hands and knees. Good. And we're grounding into the right hand now. Thread your left arm through for one. Good. Just pausing here for a moment. Inhale, reach right back up high. Exhale, roll it through for two. And then reaching right back up high. And on this last one, we'll thread it all the way through and just kind of melt into the earth. So option to reach your right hand up into the air. Okay, flip your palm so that it's facing the back, and then the back of the hand's touching the small of the back, or maybe wrapping around for that left thigh for a little half arm bind. Open the heart a little bit more if you can. Take one more breath in, and as we exhale, release that right hand back to the earth, come back up into a tabletop position. So we'll begin to stretch your right leg straight back, roll your hips down and roll your toes down. So the toes shouldn't be rolled out. We're going to keep them down. We're going to reach that left hand up. Good. So in a little bird dog shape here, we're strong in the right arm, strong in the left knee. Good. Hips are squared. And we're just going to hold that position. Good. Left hand down, right knee down. Then again, kick that left foot back, but square the hips down as you reach your right hand forward. So opposite arm and opposite leg. Try to avoid overextending into that lumbar spine. Really try to keep that spine neutral and let everything move around it. So again, a great core strengthener, back strengthener. Hands and knees back down. Inhale, drop the belly, open the heart. Exhale, round the shoulders up, close the heart. Inhale, open the heart, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. One more at your own pace. Inhale and exhale. And then we'll come back into neutral spine. Keep your toes tucked as you sit back onto your heels in hero pose. Now we're going to make sure that the pinky toes are curled under. Sometimes they don't want to come with the rest of the toes. But coming into hero pose, if you can tolerate the stretch on the bottom of the foot, the plantar fascia. This is great for runners or people who are on their feet all day. And then when you're ready, we're going to untuck the toes and sit back on the heels. So this can be great if you're really tight in the ankles, but feel free to keep the hands down on the floor if this is too intense. Good. We'll just rest here for a moment. And then we're going to start to move into child's pose and then lift the hips almost like you're coming to puppy pose. Drop your elbows down and sweep your heart forward, roll onto your belly. Now we're in a low cobra. So Press into the hands a little bit or a lot, and then wave back down. Inhale, rise a little bit or a lot, listening to your spine. Keep your elbows magnetized towards one another. Inhale, raise up a little bit or a lot, and then lower down. Good. Tuck your tailbone, tuck your toes. Stay on the knees, but come up into modified plank, and then up and back into downward facing dog. Good. Bend the knees a little bit or a lot. You could even walk in place here, but try to prioritize the spine. Wrap the elbows towards one another and just start to feel the stretch in the calves. Back should just be nice and relaxed, shoulder blades just kind of dripping down. On your next breath in, look to your hands and gently walk to the top of your mat. On your next breath in, find your inhale halfway lift and exhale forward fold. Sink your hips low, feet are about 2 fist distance apart, and bring your hands to heart center into chair pose, Utkatasana. Good. Spin your left elbow to your right knee. Keep your heart long. Make sure that left knee is not jutting forward. Pull it back in line with the right knee. From there, start to look over that right shoulder a little bit more if you can. Inhale, reach up high to the sky, come all the way to standing, and then exhale, hands to heart center as we sink into chair pose, Utkatasana. Good. Right elbow spins to left knee. Try not to let that right knee jut forward. Pull it back in line with the left. From there, as the back is long, we start to spin our gaze over our left shoulder. Inhale, sweep your hands high to the sky, elongate the body, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step into a plank pose. Knees or toes, lowers you half or all the way down to the mat. Good. Low high cobra or perhaps upward facing dog if that's in your practice, with thighs off the mat, strong into the feet, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. So take your time. Good. Just breathe here. On your next breath in, raise your right heel into the air, roll your hip open, stack your right hip on top of the left, and bend your right knee. Kind of kick through that right heel a little bit and feel a big stretch on the front of the right hip. Square your hips, draw your knee towards your nose, round the upper back like you're in cat pose, and then step right foot to right thumb. Ground your back heel down, and then gently rise up into warrior one. Square your shoulders forward, square your hips forward. Feet do not have to be in a straight line, they can be a little separated. Good. Just sink a little deeper into that right knee. Take one more breath in. And then as we exhale, plant your hands on either edge of that right foot, spin the back heel up, and then step into a downward facing dog. Good. Feet step together. This time we'll lift the left heel up high to the sky. Begin to roll your left hip on top of the right, stacking the hips, and then bend your left knee. Kind of kick through that left heel a little bit more. So like you're trying to push a wall away from you, back behind you. And then we'll begin to square our hips, roll your knee to your nose, cat in the back, and then step left foot to left thumb lightly as you can. Right heel spins to the earth. Feet are, again, not completely in a straight line, but maybe a little train tracked. We'll roll up into warrior one. So don't overextend into the low back. Try to tuck your tailbone, protect the low lumbar spine, and engage your core as the shoulders square forward. Just begin to connect in with your breath. Plant your hands either edge of the left foot, back heel lifts, step into downward facing dog. Good. We could stay there. Maybe wave yourself forward into a plank pose. Exhale, lower half or all the way to the earth for your next vinyasa. Inhale, low, high cobra, or upward facing dog. And then exhale, we'll all meet in downward facing dog, however you choose to get there. Big toes come to touch. On a breath in, we'll begin to lift the right leg up high. Exhale, stack the right hip on top of the left, bend the right knee. Inhale, square the hips. As you exhale, draw your knee to nose, step right foot to right thumb, back heel spins down, roll up warrior one on a breath in. As we exhale, plant hands either edge of the right foot, step back into downward facing dog. Big toes come to touch. On a breath in, lift the left foot up high. As we exhale, stack your left hip on top of the right and bend the left knee. Inhale, squares your hip. Exhale, draws your knee to nose, step left foot to left thumb. Back heel down. Inhale, rise, warrior one. And exhale, place hands either edge of the left foot, step to downward facing dog. We are choosing to either rest here or take our next vinyasa. So if you're flowing with me, inhale, wave forward to plank. Exhale, lower half or all the way to the mat. Inhale, back bend of choice. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe. Big toes come to touch. Inhale, look to the top of the mat, prepare your feet, walk, step, or playfully hop to the top. Good. Inhale, find a halfway lift, feet can be slightly separated. And exhale, fold. Good. Sink your hips low, find chair pose, hands to heart center. Exhale, left elbow to right knee, pull the heart open long. Good. Take one more breath in, one more breath out, and the next breath in rises you up high to stand. Exhale, floats you back down to chair. Inhale, place right elbow to left knee, pull the heart open, take one breath in, one breath out. Next breath in rises you up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step into plank pose. Lower half or all the way to the mat. Good. Inhale, low high cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, let's meet in downward facing dog. Big toes come to touch. Inhale, lift your right leg up high to the sky. As you exhale, stack your hips, bend the top knee. Inhale, squares the hips. Exhale, pulls knee to nose. Step right foot to right thumb. Ground your left heel. Rise warrior one. And on an out breath, open up warrior two. So the front heel is in the same line as the back arch. Begin to roll your right knee open a little bit more and look over your right middle finger. Your shoulders are staying stacked on top of your hips and our fingers are relaxed. We'll begin to flip the right palm up towards the sky. Take a breath in and reach forward. As you exhale, land the left hand softly on the back thigh as you reach your arm up and back for a reverse warrior. Good. Take one more breath in as we exhale back to warrior two. Inhale, sweep to warrior one. On a breath in, open the heart, and on a breath out, place hands either edge of the right foot, step to downward facing dog. Big toes come to touch. Inhale, lift your left heel high to the sky. On a breath out, stack your hips, bend the top knee open. An inhale squares the hips. Exhale, roll knee to nose, and then plant left foot to left thumb. Inhale, rise warrior one. Exhale, open up into warrior two. So that front heel is in line with the back arch. That left knee is rolling open a little bit more. Sink into your left knee a little bit deeper. Relax the fingers, relax the arms. Look over your left middle finger as shoulders stay stacked on hips. Flip your left palm up towards the sky and begin to take a breath in as you reach forward slightly. As we exhale, land the right hand to the back thigh and then reach the left arm up to the sky. Reverse warrior. Good. Take one more breath in. As we exhale, we'll come into warrior two. Inhale sweeps you into a warrior one. Open the heart. And then we exhale, place hands either edge of that left foot, step to downward facing dog. Now, option to take a rest here or inhale, wave forward into a plank pose. Exhale, lower half or all the way to the mat. Inhale, low high cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, find downward facing dog. Good. Take a breath in and take a breath out. Inhale, peek to the top of the mat, prepare your feet, walk, step, or playfully hop to the top, light as you can. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, forward fold. Good. So from here, we're going to place our hands to the mat. We're going to heel toe our feet together. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of space, so I'm going to step back, but we're going to come up onto your toes and sink into a very deep squat. So hands are on the mat or onto the knees, and start to pull your heart forward here. Okay, so we're balancing on the toes. Maybe hands even can come to heart center. Squeeze your knees together. We're going to stay on our toes, and then we're going to peel our heart towards our thighs. So magnetize your lower body and upper body together as you begin to lift your hips. Keep your heels lifted and start to pull your heart down towards the floor for drinking bird. Let's hold 3, 2, and 1. Good. Begin to rebend the knees and sink the heels and the hips towards one another. Good. Very nice. So feet are still touching. We're going to place our hands inside of our knees here. Good. So our hands are shoulder width apart, and you can back up a little bit if you're off your mat. We're going to bend the elbows so that when we bend them, they come straight back. And we're just going to kind of get low to the ground. Go as low as you can and feel that stretch. So just pulsing up and down, let the knees open wide. Only go as low as you feel comfortable. Good. So starting to see an opportunity to squeeze the knees into the upper arms. We're going to lift the hips up a little bit higher and just kind of see how everything lifts in and up. We don't want to splay out. I see that all the time. Sometimes we try to get wide in crow pose. We want to think about everything squeezing in and up to the sky. Take a break here, find a forward fold, and just rest. Good. Elbows can be soft, knees can be soft. But when you're ready, we're going to find that little low squat again. Open the knees, let the hands come shoulder width apart, and lower the elbows towards the mat. Squeeze the knees into the upper arm bones or up into the armpit if you can. Good. Think about everything lifting up, 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 in and up. Elbows squeeze together. Maybe lift one foot and then the other, and then maybe play with holding this crow pose here. Good. If you're pretty confident in crow, feel free to try to extend your elbows. See if you can hold that there. Grip into your fingers. And then when you're ready, rebend and sink back into a little squat. So I love crow pose, super fun. It's a little bit harder than I think most people think it is. So play around with that. Feel free to pause the video and just play with your crow. Good. Coming back into a forward fold when you're ready. Inhale, find a halfway lift, and exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, begin to sink your knees low, find chair pose. Exhale, left elbow comes to right knee. Inhale, back up to standing all the way long, hands to heart center, and then right elbow to left knee, or revolved chair pose. Inhale, sweep hands all the way up high, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, let's find a halfway lift, elongate your heart. Exhale, plant your hands, walk, step, or maybe hop into your next vinyasa. Inhale, low, high cobra or upward facing dog, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath in and take a breath out. Feet step together. On a breath in, we're going to lift the right heel up high to the sky. Exhale, stack the hips, open the heart, bend the top knee. Inhale, squares the hips. Exhale, knee to nose, step right foot to right thumb, rise, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Flip the front palm, inhale, reach. Exhale, reverse warrior. Good. Inhale back to warrior two. Exhale, warrior one. Inhale, hold. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we're going to heel toe your back foot up, heel toe it up. Heel toe up until you feel like you can come onto the toes of the back foot and square your hips together. So narrow stance here. And then begin to float that left foot up off the mat, square the hips, and moving into warrior three, start to lower the head as the heel lifts. Don't let the hips open up. Now, the head cannot lower if the foot does not lift. So we don't want to leave the foot and the head down. That's going to put all the pressure on your low back. So think about engaging into your left glute as your head starts to lower and feel a stretch in the right hamstring. Keep your core nice and tight, and then as we exhale, come all the way to stand. Inhale, reach your hands up high, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, walk, step, or hop into your next vinyasa. Good. Inhale, reaching up low, high cobra, or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Big toes come to touch. Inhale, lift your left heel high to the sky. As we exhale, stack your left hip on top of the right, bend the top knee. Inhale, squares the hips. Exhale, knee to nose, step left foot to left thumb. Inhale, rises you warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, flip your front palm, reach, and then exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale to warrior two. Exhale to warrior one. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, hands to heart center. Heel toe your right foot up, heel toe up until you feel like you can come onto the toes of the right foot. So narrow stance, begin to lean into your left leg, roll your hips together, and then we're moving into warrior three. So keeping the hips squared, begin to lower the heart as the heel lifts. So try not to do one without the other, and only go as far as you feel comfortable. You don't even have to go this low. Just feeling a stretch and finding the balance. Try not to bend the right knee. Kick strong through that right heel. Take one more breath in and use the strength of your left hamstrings on an exhale to bring you up to standing and ground into both feet. Inhale, reach hands high, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, plant hands, walk, step, or hop through your next vinyasa. Inhale, low, high cobra or upward dog. And then exhale, we'll all meet in downward facing dog. Good. Big toes come to touch. We're going to bend the right knee and slide your toes forward as you bring your right knee through your thumbs. Okay, so we're moving to pigeon pose by scooching that right foot over to the left. Now you could absolutely be kind of rocked onto the right hip a little bit more with both knees bent if we need it, and we could even fold here if that feels better to you. But coming into more of an appropriate pigeon pose, we'll square the hips, square the shoulders, pull your heart up high, feel a hip flexor stretch in that left side, and a big stretch in the glutes on the right side, and perhaps forward folding here. We could stack our fists to let our head rest there. We could just place our head onto our palms, or we could just simply fold all the way down to the floor. Just whatever feels good to you. We'll stay here for a few moments just to rest. And on your next breath in, begin to lift your gaze, tuck your back toes, step into down dog, and just shake that right leg out a little bit. Maybe walk in place. And then we'll begin to bend our left knee. Drag your left toes through as that knee comes to your thumbs. Good. We're going to shimmy your left foot over to the right edge of your mat. And again, we could rock onto that left hip a lot and find a little bit of forgiveness in the lower body here and fold if that feels better to you. Or we could come into a full pigeon by squaring the hips, pulling the heart up high. Feel a hip flexor stretch in the right side as we forward fold, deepening that left glute stretch. So again, feel free to stack the fist, let the head rest there, maybe stack the palms, or just simply rest all the way to the floor. And again, we'll stay here for a few moments in stillness and quiet. And then we'll begin to lift our gaze, tuck the back toes, step into downward dog, shake that left leg out, walk in place. Good. When you're ready, we'll come into easy seat. And we're going to extend the right leg out long as we pull the left knee towards us. We're going to place the left foot to the inner part of the right thigh and reach your right hand back behind you in support. On a breath in, reach your left hand up high to the sky, and as you exhale, fold over the right thigh, maybe reaching for the pinky toe edge of the right foot with the left hand. Good. Take a moment to find a comfortable stretch, and if you feel ready, we're going to reach that right hand forward, maybe even clasping the left hand on top of the right. Just ease into the stretch. Feel that left side body opening. A little bit of a hamstring stretch as well on the right. Good. Take one more breath in as we exhale, rise back up. Place your left hand back behind your left hip. Inhale, push your hips up high to the sky, pushing through the knee, the heel, and the left hand, and open the right hand back. Counter stretching that forward fold. Good. Softly lower your seat back to the earth. We're going to bring the right knee up and then extend the left leg out long. Placing right foot into the inner left thigh. Good. We'll place our left hand back behind you in support. Inhale, reach your right hand up high. As we exhale, hinge from your waist and fold over that left thigh Maybe reaching for the pinky toe edge of the left foot. Inhale, pull the heart open. Exhale, fold a little deeper. If that feels good to you, you can sweep the left hand forward and just place both hands on top of one another. Good. Inhale, begin to lift that right hand up high to the sky. Exhale, place your right hand back behind the right hip. We're going to push into the hand, the knee, and the heel as we raise up, sweeping your left hand back behind you. Open the heart, counter stretching the forward fold. Good. Take one more breath in. As we exhale, softly lower your seat to the earth. Good. Bring your hands back forward. Bend both of your knees up, and then we're going to grab the backs of the legs. One vertebra at a time rolls you to your mat, onto your back. Begin to pull the right knee into your chest, stretch your left leg out long. Holding the knee with the left hand, open your right palm out to a T. Begin to pull the right knee across to the left edge of your mat by using the weight of your left hand, and look to your right fingertips for a spinal twist. Feel free to close the eyes here and just make this really relaxed. And then we'll gently come back onto your back. Place your right foot back down, bend your left knee up. Left knee pulls to the chest as right leg stretches out long. So left arm comes to a half T shape, and we'll begin to roll the left knee across to the right edge of our mat. And begin to look over to the left fingertips for a full spinal twist, and maybe softly close the eyes. And then gently roll back onto your back. Place your left foot down, bend the right knee up. We're going to touch the bottoms of our feet together, open the knees wide for Supta Baddha Konasana. Just let the hands float where they feel natural, wherever that may be. Good. We'll bring the knees together, heel toe the feet out to the edges of our mat, and drop the knees inward. Again, hands are just where they feel most comfortable. And then we'll relax everything into our final Shavasana, our full rest corpse pose. Slide the feet out long, let the feet just naturally drip open. Hands rest by your side, palms up in a sign of receiving. Receive the benefits of your practice today. Maybe take a soft, deep breath in and a soft, deep breath out. Begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes, sweep your hands overhead long, extend through the full body, take a deep breath in and deep breath out. We'll gently roll to the right side of your body and rest here for a moment of gratitude, just to say thank you for something in your life. And when you're ready, we'll gently meet in easy seat. And we'll close our practice together by sweeping our hands over our head high, drawing your thumbs down over your third eye, all seeing, all knowing, into your heart center. Bow into the space between your palms, symbolic of your inner light. Thank you so much for practicing with me today.